The crowd of eggs, by the way. Welcome back to the Rocket League OCE Championship League Play number 5 with Hysterics, Courier Lord, and of course Wolfie joining us on the end of the desk to join us for a very monumental occasion with Tainted Minds taking on Lovedex after Lovedex just took a serious blow.
What a crazy game. That last series was insane. No one saw that coming. I mean, you did, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, and I mean, a 3-2 win with a major overtime, it's very scary now for Lovedex because they're actually in a point where they're either going to end up in 6th or most likely 8th. So it's a bit scary for them.
It's a bit do or die, but on the flip side, we do have Tainted Minds in a similar situation where they're coming back. They're our RLCS team returning, but they're not sitting in a top 2 position anymore, and they need every win they can get if they want to return to that place.
They had a very unsatisfactory start to the entire League Play season, and now coming into the last few rounds of it, it's super important that they get these wins here so that they can push on to the 3rd or 4th spot and get that extra life next week.
I mean, how good would you feel taking a win against Darksided in Game 5? Tainted Minds are coming off the spur of a lot of momentum off of last week.
And that was insane, right? We saw Jules stepping up, being an absolute monster. CJ back to full form as one of the most powerful offensive players in the entire league. And Kami's just a rock. You can just build anything around him, and it's just going to be successful.
I do have to say, though, I feel that Kami came out of the gates not as strong as we would have liked, because we're used to the old Kami before this season actually started, where people look at him take the ball and they're like, oh, no, this is going to be a goal. I'm so scared here.
Wasn't that the case for everyone in Tainted Minds, that we felt that they all came out a little bit individually weaker?
Well, they did come over from overseas, right? So they were a returning RLCS team, and now that they're back in OCE, they needed to prove themselves domestically, and they haven't really done so.
And this is their opportunity. They need to beat Lovedex, and then they need to move forward and verse one of the top 4 teams to win. But Lovedex, in the meantime, do need to get this win. They need to get into the top 6. Otherwise, they're going to be knocked out by that loss from Legacy.
That loss from Legacy, that is really just going to hit them hard. And they need to recover, put it behind them. A team like Tainted Minds, they are faster than Sorry, Legs are silly. We call them Legacy. They're faster than Legs are silly. How the hell do you stop them?
Well, first off, Lovedex need a 3-1 win. They don't just need a win, they need a 3-1 win here to even secure a top 6 placement. So that is super important for them. For them, though, I found that, and when having a look at the last series, very slow in defense. And this was a problem, because in Game 1, you saw they were very slow in defense, and Legs Hilly just bang, bang, bang. All of a sudden, it's 4-0. And they're like, oh, crap. We are in, basically the crap has hit the fan, and they really need to work on that.
I was going to say, you're up the creek without a paddle, but that's good enough as well.
Yeah.
How is your confidence, Courier? I'm actually going to start with you this time and just, ruin everything. No, I'm going to start with you.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
This
just
guy,
baited.
Toxic.
How is your confidence after that last series, and Tainted Minds now just too far ahead of Lovedex?
I initially thought that Tainted Minds would be taking out this matchup straight away, but looking also at how weak Lovedex are actually looking, I think Tainted Minds are in a very good spot to push towards 3rd or 4th position. So I reckon they're going to take it 3-1.
Yeah, I'm with Tainted Minds. Similar boat. You have the team that is most likely to do aerial plays, has the most connections, least intercepted team, and then one of the fastest teams, against a team that just lost to a team that has really good interception passes.
We saw how much they struggled in the interception game last time with Lovedex. That's why I have to go with Tainted Minds as well. For me, they're just too powerful of a team. And I love your point about they came back internationally and they struggled. Wolfie, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Chiefs did as well. And now look at where the Chiefs stand. It's early days for Tainted Minds.
That's absolutely right.
Let's jump into Game 1. Tainted Minds versus Lovedex. And as Lovedex have proven themselves before, now more than ever, to hold on and not get choked out of league play, they have to beat the Tyrants, the Rising Stars, who have already climbed up. It's Tainted Minds.
And they've all been playing exceptionally well. That Darksided match, if you haven't seen it, go dig up the VODs. It was some of the best plays of the OCE League play thus far.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys are speed demons.
Tainted Minds on the defensive here. Doesn't look too promising for Lovedex just yet, but the demolition is there, and Lovedex have an opportunity. Adzi with the pass, but Kami gets their first Jules as well. Tainted Minds in their Game 1, sometimes they don't look as convincing as other teams, and maybe this is the opportunity to strike for Lovedex. They'll be in front of this net. Kami goes up for the ball. Now spinning around it, has plenty of boost as he runs out, however, will be able to center it. Jules and CJ, they've all popped up, and Lovedex will be able to control the ball down the side of the field.
And they're going to take a lot of shots. Lovedex need to break out of their half, and they need to break out of it early, because if Tainted Minds get any momentum, they just run through, they can do those incredibly quick pass plays that are so difficult to score. And as it was mentioned at the desk, defense is not the name of Lovedex's game.
Jules goes over the top of the ball, and already Tainted Minds have started getting some promising touches in The demolition onto Jules will slow things down, but Kami's there to respond. The clear, CJ to help it propel forward. Kami will actually inadvertently pass it back over to CJ, and the promising passes, that one's a little bit strong, CJ. They'll start coming through from Tainted Minds, and let's see how Lovedex respond.
And they've got control. Even if they don't pass forward like we saw them, bit of a missed opportunity, they're keeping possession, or they're locking Lovedex in their half.
And again, moments for Tainted Minds. They go past the ball, but Lovedex still holding in front of the net. Jules with the first shot. Blocked away by CJM. Save your medal within his grasp. And really today, he's already had the time of his life in front of that net. Maybe not the most exciting time, but definitely still a time.
I don't know if Lovedex have got 2 consecutive touches yet.
They're struggling here. Montgomery in front of goal. Kami with the first shot as he turns into flames.
Yeah, if your opponents can't get consecutive touches and you're getting non-stop shots, this is what Tainted Minds do to you as they finally close it out.
So fast, and I have not seen... I feel like that is the new goal explosion. That is slick. First goal goes over to Tainted Minds, and it's been a well-paced game for Lovedex, but I think you're right. 2 consecutive touches for Lovedex. Now, pass forward. It's going to go over to CJM. He pops it again. The pass is over to Adzi, but Tainted Minds read it well. Jules goes forward. CJ as well himself, and the second shot was there. Now has to be cleared away by Adzi. Tainted Minds looking good around the corner. Still able to push forward, getting these intercepts, better touches. CJ centering it down. Adzi will get it clear, but goes over the top of Kami. That works. Goes over the top of Jules. That also works, but he bumps it back and forth. CJ will have the shot, but it's blocked out by CJ, I believe.
It's a rough place to be. You are up against Tainted Minds, who are so good at passing. Oh my god, that was a beautiful shot right on the edge.
Just came out of nowhere. Kami pops it up here. CJM off the wall to hit that angle. Oh, hit the first side post and directly angled in. The first goal going to Lovedex and brings him back on the board.
He must have done so well in Year 10 math. That was some Pythagoras right there.
Don't remind me, 2 minutes in. I think that Lovedex will now be able to press forward with that one goal. Monty Connor, case in point. CJM's here as well. They've run into each other. Big mistake. As CJ walks forward, CJM from this corner. CJ will get it over the top, but I think CJM mechanically gifted. He is Spartacus incarnate, 140. Center over to a clear, following by Monty Connor. CJ will give it back over to Jules. Now the passing play continues, but stolen away, and looks like the inceptions are starting to come out from Lovedex.
Yeah, and the insurrections of Spartacus as they push forward, now with another opportunity to get that goal as they push deeper and deeper into Tainted Minds' half.
That was close from CJ, but he knows what he's doing. He gets the second touch, and what a banger!
And what a punishment! That is a monster goal coming out of their half, and the fact that it came off the wall for himself misled Adzi's positioning. You saw Adzi trying to get the read.
CJ's done that over the past couple of weeks. He's read his own touch, always following it up. Tainted Minds, their ability to surprise is always there. The first shot. Now after that kickoff, and again Lovedex angling it close. Adzi came out of the blue.
It's really worrying for Tainted Minds if Adzi starts to pop off. He's a player that is very hot and cold, but when he's on, he's got 4 MVPs. He just destroys everybody. So he could be the secret weapon they need if they are to take down Tainted Minds.
But that pass, that should have gone over to CJ, and maybe more control from Tainted Minds necessary. Demolition first of all, but Adzi slow to the ball. Monty Connor now respawns, but in a dangerous position for Tainted Minds. Kami's the one back. He reaches up for it now, wins it over. A slight touch into the corner. Jules with the angle. Goes right past it. CJ, no one in defense. That pass should have been a goal from Lovedex. And 45 seconds, it looks like there are a couple of mistakes coming out from both teams.
Yeah, Lovedex are a team that struggles with great boost management. So even though they get that runaway opportunity, they don't conserve as much, and it cost them that goal.
I think for Lovedex now, they'll know that the pressure's being stacked on. The first game at a standstill so far. Adzi slow to the ball. This is him. A light touch. Jules doesn't get the clear away, but Kami does, helping out each other. Tainted Minds now bringing Kami up to the ball. 15 seconds. CJ over the top. Jules as well. It's rolling down the ramp. Jules wins it. Now what can Tainted Minds do with the ball with 8 seconds left remaining? CJ carrying it upfield, popping it around the net. The solo play is now left to Jules, but Lovedex simply couldn't find anything, and we go to overtime in game 1.
This is a lot tighter than I thought it would be, with Lovedex living up to the momentum of Tainted Minds and saying, no, we can hold.
But for how long? Jules now pops the ball up, and Lovedex seem to be getting the measure on this ball. The center again, popping up, 2 members forward. CJM from the corner, this should be centered. Good for Adzi, but the ball's going past him. CJ has Monty Connor, he blocks the ball, but the secondary shot again. Monty steps up big.
And that's his role. He's the one to disrupt plays, not necessarily set up the plays. And it could be what they need if they're to hold against Tainted Minds' offense and the huge passes that build in the midfield.
Kami centers the ball. All Tainted Mind members have gone past it. CJ left to recover it. However, at the moment, that was the backboard undefended. Lovedex is starting to get more pressure on, and this is dangerous. Tainted Minds from the corner. They've managed to secure top 6, but how much further can they go?
And top 6 for them, that's not good. This is an RLCS qualifying teams. They want to be doing better. They proved themselves domestically last year. Now they need to prove themselves internationally by taking down matches.
Saw that one hit the crossbar, coming in close to Demolition on the right wing. Now good for Kami. Jules is up for the ball. Can't get past the defenders. Now CJ to recover. Tainted Minds, not as clean as we once thought. Kami coming off this wall, but Lovedex, they're still in control. CGM meets it. Jules brings it back up, maybe not. Kami tries to create some dirty work in that net. Unsuccessful as CJ brings it back down. Adzi pops it. In comes Kami again, but through downfield. Jules is the only one left. They're leaving it to the spur of a moment. Tainted Minds, the defense is holding out, but so is Lovedex.
Yeah, when just not seeing the pass plays coming out and winning that challenge there is going to be critical to allow them to push. But when he passes, it's all good and well to do the shots on your own, try to set yourself up against the backboard. But Tainted Mind's speciality is the speed at which they can get it to a teammate.
Well, Jules was the last member of defense, but the rotation comes through eventually. Lovedex now 2 minutes into overtime. Will clear the ball all the way out. It bounces over one over the second. Adzi doesn't get the touch. It hits the corner just to relinquish a bit of pressure, but as Kami comes up, Jules waiting back. He now has an opportunity to strike. It hits the roof in front of net. But keeping it around the midfield, there's no aggression just yet. Lovedex have the shot. Tainted Mind's able to defend away. CJ helps with the clear. Kami's upfield, pops it up. Here's the passing play. So Tainted Minds-esque. Coming across the net, in front of net. Say the same word twice and it shall be so. Bad the English. It's covered out strong. 2 minutes 30 from the corner. CJ unable to get the better touch of it.
Yeah, and Kami's noticing they're unable to get the touches they need and they're following up passing plays. So you can see he's starting to rotate deep into the enemy net, going for bumps, going for demos to open it up to make up for the fact they're struggling with the touches.
Jules will wait for the ball to pace back down. Adzi is here in the midfield. Looks like the left wing's really where Lovedex want to play. 2 minutes 59 and now 3. Long overtimes here today in League Play 5.
It just shows how tight the region is. Everyone is so hungry for that RLCS dream.
Intercept again. CJ's popped it up. This is it, Courier, and it's going to bounce in for a Tainted Minds Game 1 win.
Kami kept on trying to open the goal, but now CJ does it for him, and he goes and scores.
Just like me, Courier, open the goal, and it shall be so. Tainted Minds taking Game 1. That is a confidence booster, but not only that. And it's going to really lead them into this series and see if Lovedex can hold on. Because they brought it so close in Game 1, and that's probably what we need to see.
I think we need to see more from them. I'm going to go the other way, and the reason for that is it's maybe enough to beat Lovedex. But they need to look forward. They have Legacy coming up next. And if you're only narrowly beating out Lovedex, Legacy are like terrifying. The only thing that stopped them thus far is Chiefs. And if they're only losing to Chiefs and you're scraping against Lovedex, top 2 is going to be a bit of a dream.
Maybe it was Lovedex stepping up, though, because I'm not too concerned, I think, with Tainted Minds in Game 1. I think I'm more concerned of the progression, the rate of improvement from Lovedex, because going up against Tainted Minds, you're always going to put on your best show, even though it does matter against Legs of Silly. When you compare, you're like, oh, it's Tainted Minds. Mentally, you're going to go, yes, I'm so much more prepared for this one because it's such a heavier matchup and such a weighted matchup when you consider the standings.
Yep.
For Tainted Minds, now is the time for them to just get a clean 3-0 or 3-1. They take Lovedex out by doing so, but then they move forward, as you said, against Legacy.
And that's what they need to be doing. They need to be looking forward. They need to be looking at how they can prep for that top 6, because this is too quick. and they need to get that 3-0.
But they were reading the intercepts. I don't think Lovedex did that as well in the Legs of Silly match.
Well, I think they definitely were ahead. Like, don't get me wrong. I think they definitely were ahead of Lovedex in the game. But you need to be stomping them.
Yep.
We need to see CJ landing all those shots. We need to see Kami, whilst he did open the net, we don't need to see him always try to go for the finish, because the shot should have landed in the first place.
Well, game 2, Lovedex have an opportunity to surprise us. And now against Tainted Minds, the effort is going to have to excel forward. Montecona pops it, but he loses it. Jules immediately in front of net. And this ball is going to be a banger if they can smash it down. But Tainted Minds, they don't commit. They leave it for CJM. In fact, good for them. Monty, slight touch. CJM over the top, but Jules will get the clear out, and it means they're one member down. Tainted Minds, speed on the ball.
It's the Jules debate. The number of times that he's drawn players in and just cleared it right over their heads. It's his secret recipe.
Shoving it on 2 hands. Tainted Minds, the center set. Lovedex bring the ball forward, but immediately counter cleared. Jules will try and get it past, maybe intercept Adzi. The demolition going over to CJM as Adzi's bumped out of the air. Still a bit of time to work with. 4 minutes now as Tainted Minds pop it up. That backboard's not going to be defended, and second touch is missed. Jules trying to counterplay and finish it off. Tainted Minds are struggling a little bit here. Getting a lot more pressure, but the finishes are not as clean as maybe we should have seen.
Yeah, they're great shots. Everyone in Tainted Minds, you can kind of expect that if the net gets opened up, they have the mechanical skill to just put it away, and especially the speed at which they play it. Great setup there from Jules. The follow-up comes through. 2 hits on that top of the backboard, but not enough to finish.
Well, for Tainted Minds, still applying the pressure onto Lovedex. 3 minutes 30. The pass is good there. Jules will actually bring it into contention, and you can see CJ waiting on the wing. Will be able to bring it onto the backboard again. And 1, 2, 3. How do you do, they say, Tainted Minds. 3 minutes 20. The clear will be responded by Lovedex, but and how much pressure can they reapply to that net?
Yeah, Jules just rotating deeper and deeper back without committing has allowed Lovedex to get a little bit of circling room, forcing his teammates to change their rotation. We need to see him come forward. We need to see him help the roster so they're not stuck in a 2v3 in the midfield.
Center again, Kami trying to beat out the defender. That's Adzi. They're bumped by their own teammate, but that's just to get speed out of the net. 2 minutes 50 remaining. Tainted Minds, a passing play again. This time it's going to be slick. Adzi blocks it out. The defense holding out from Lovedex, and a testament to their growth again. Montecona off that back wall. They've left CJM in charge of this net. It looks like it's working.
Yeah, good prediction there, and CJM knew exactly where he had to come up, and the fact that he waited so long meant that he wouldn't be punished with a clear by jumping early.
Jules bringing it back, 2 defenders, but this means there's so much more commitment from Lovedex. The pass again, Kami doesn't even look marked by another player, but CJ slides past, and Tainted Minds almost having fun in this offense. Lovedex can surprise. There's a time where Lovedex get these passing plays going themselves, and it's times like that. Looking for that top 90. Will not lock it in the bins whatsoever. Tainted Minds now regaining control. Jules himself, the pass forward, but it's way too early. In fact, Lovedex can make something out of this play themselves. They're starting to get pressure down this side of the field.
And Jules is starting to get confidence back as well. For the first half of the game, there was nothing, and Kami follows up that confidence with a goal of his own.
Oh, what a read by Kami. Like, Jules with the pass was a little bit up front, but Kami reads it, pops up first, and the top 90 it was. 145, Tainted Minds take the lead.
I love the old counter play. It's like, I know, you know, I know that we're all going to go for that pass.
But you don't know that I know that we're going to do that, and Tainted Minds knew that, and that's why they didn't know. So now with 130 remaining, Tainted Minds, they know how they're going to progress forward in the second game. They hold control, they hold the passes.
We call that a Xanatos Gambit.
Oh, how much can they hold possession? Good angle from Adzi. 1 minute 30. Lovedex keeping it down this side of the field. Montecona drifting with the ball. Adzi hanging back, but Tainted Minds, these passes, they're going a little bit too far forward. Couple of misses, not iconic, but Jules now for the banger himself.
The confidence is back, and that makes a huge difference from Jules as he now punches it away. The pass plays, the defense not strong enough. Tainted Minds are on fire.
Hard to read as well. Jules, he's been stepping up in the past couple of weeks. Stepping up, turning fast into a meme, but let's say he's just been progressing forward. And I think for Tainted Minds, a strong third player, that's what they've been developing Jules to be the final oyster for Tainted Minds.
Because you always buy oysters in threes, right?
You always buy, well, sometimes when it's $4 an oyster, you might. That one hits the crossbar. It shouldn't be saved, but for Tainted Minds, luckily it comes all the way out. That big clear responded immediately by Monty Connor. Sydney Rock Oysters, $4 a pack. That's really, really difficult. Right now, $12 on Tainted Minds. 40 seconds remaining. Light pop up. This will be good for CJ. They still win out the ball. Goes all the way back, and Tainted Minds have done what they can. They've done what they needed to do. Lovedex looked like a crushing Game 2 defeat.
Yeah, the control over the Tainted Minds has held this game. The lack of consecutive touches from Lovedex, you can see which team is the more dominant one. The experience they have is just bleeding through onto the scoreboard, and they're running away with it.
Well, convincing start for Tainted Minds. For Lovedex, they are in such a difficult position here. They've already lost the chance of that 3-1. The reverse sweep, yes, might give them a chance to get back into league play. But Lovedex, they need to start putting everything aside, putting everything on the line. Tainted Minds, they want a crushing 3-0. They want to move forward to Legacy with promise and that level of preciseness that they start here with Lovedex.
Yeah, we saw them last week when Legacy went up against Darksided. Sorry, not Legacy. Tainted Minds went up against Darksided.
Right. They
took them apart in the midfield, and that's a place you're going to have to challenge Legacy. They like to live there too. So we need to see them hold. And the next game is going to be very indicative of how that goes. Because it's all good and well to do against Lovedex twice, but third time's the charm, and that's when you've got me.
So Lovedex have been progressing through this series, no doubt, though. There's been some of the signs of life that I wanted to see personally, that I know in this New Zealand squad I have definitely been shown. But the inconsistency, that's the issue with Lovedex.
Yeah, the hot-cold factor that they have. Katy Perry would be proud, but they just can't commit to having that day where Adzi is just on fire the whole time.
Yep.
And then if he was, he'd be one of the best players in the region. Because when he is on, he single-handedly took out Chiefs in a game when Chiefs were on. That's insane.
When they were on, Lovedex looked powerful, prominent. They looked up there with teams that are now fighting for their lives, like Jam, Retirement Home. And we could have even said, hey, they can challenge their way up to the top 4. In the OC Open Series, we saw a lot from Lovedex, but they finished in second last place. Lovedex now moving up. It starts with a reverse sweep, and against Tainted Minds, it's going to be a difficult feature. Game 3, Tainted Minds have really brought their way into this party. They're the guy that brings so much, and you're like, you didn't have to bring all this to my house. And Tainted Minds said, no, it's okay, you know. I want to show you I appreciate it. And they're showing Lovedex right now how much they appreciate their time in this match. The series in Game 3 set up nicely for Tainted Minds. It's going to be the first goal, but blocked away by Adzi. Good defense, but you can see already Tainted Minds start off with a cracker.
The offense keeps coming out though. Tainted Minds deciding that they want to keep building. But that doesn't matter. Adzi with the steal. This could be his game. We just saw him pull that save. We're now seeing him pull the shots. The Adzi puff-off might be about to happen.
Oh, that quick touch, and Adzi in great positioning.
That was like
more of those. Yeah, please.
Yeah, this could be it. Adzi's might going to pop off. Could see the reverse sweep. Change of everything. Flipping on its head.
Get those interceptions, those pass plays, and it works out for Lovedex now for Tainted Minds. Being on the back foot is not their style. CJ brings it onto that back wall, and you can see the tempo has just been really stepped up. Kami will keep it on his back wall. CGM wants to dunk it, but blocked away by Jules. Now all of Tainted Minds, they run up. Interceptions from Lovedex, so important as Monty Connor goes back on the ball. CGM from the corner as well. Lovedex, a team who need this series win. Already 2 games down. Tainted Minds comfortable in the top 6. They want to go further.
Yeah, 6 isn't good enough for Tainted Minds because the seeding is banded in the first 2 go through. The second 2 get top of the bracket, and the bottom 3 go into the bottom 2 lower bracket. Words are evading me. The game is just too tense.
That pass there should have been locked in by Jules, and Tainted Minds are just not securing these plays. This is not Tainted Minds-esque, as we said before, an issue that's been arising in this series. How will they hold their consistency? Jules from the left wing now. Stolen the ball. Kami comes back around, 3:15. Lovedex still holding that lead. Monty Connor doesn't get the ball. CGM and Adzi a bit surprised by that one. And Kami will read well off the roof for the backboard play. CJ will lose it too. 3 minutes left remaining, and Lovedex are in a good position.
And they're keeping up with the pace now. They struggled in the first games. where they just kept on being beaten out, but now they're matching it. Now they're noticing when CJ goes up. They meet him and they take it, and now they can push forward.
Monticona goes with the ball. This is good for CJM if he can get his hand on it. The grip stolen away from Adzi, and again, CJ and Kami, they walk up with it. You're watching Jules now because he'll be coming around. CJM looks like the only player we care about these days, and off that backboard, Monticona will read it well. CJM, no speed on the shot because there was no shot. 2 minutes 30 remaining.
And they now get the opportunity to push forward, and we're seeing so much more possession into Tainted Mind's half than we have previously, so it gives them hope that they can get more follow-ups and hold out the lead.
CJ going for the solo play. It was clean, it was pristine, but now for CJM, he's broken through.
The key goal scorer of Love Dex, and with Adzi starting to perform, Monty Connor setting up midfield plays, this could be the beginning. This could be the reverse sweep.
Start of Love Dex, 2-0 up. The confidence booster that brings them back in this series. How badly do you want that road to RLCS to continue on? How badly do you want it to pave its own way? Well, of course it's not going to do that, but you can always pick up the shovel yourself. The clear, that's going to turn into another one.
And it's a runaway. Tainted Minds overcommitted deep in the half. They're not expecting to be beaten out. And now we're seeing what happens when you do.
Big clear from Adzi. Love Dex. Now 3-0 up, 2 minutes remaining. I think Tainted Minds may have just lost themselves the game 3. Doesn't look like there's any response whatsoever. Jules now with a shot off a kickoff. Maybe there is, maybe there definitely could be. Tainted Minds come to a standstill. That ball cleared again, and the defense going to have to rotate back a lot quicker. Kami coming forward, and the aggression needs to be built by Tainted Minds as well. CJ up with the ball. This is going to go past, but not CJM. Now for Monticona, he's in good positioning if he wants to challenge. Wins it over, sent it over to Adzi, and stolen. Again, Tainted Minds got a minute 30 remaining. It's definitely doable. They bring it around this corner. CJM winning out, but losing the ball eventually. The passing play from Tainted Minds, I'll be the first to say it, is what's going on.
It doesn't really matter at this point. When you only got just over a minute left on the clock, you're not managing to maintain the possession. You're 3 goals down. It's the beginning of the end.
Well, it's an issue. It's a big issue that Tainted Minds need to address. Tainted Minds are on the defensive again. They're able to block out some of these shots, but the passes again, CJ goes over the top. This is not an internationally acclaimed team. For OCE, talent pool is rising. We've seen so much development and growth. That big clear for Jules will open up the net. Tainted Minds now close the gap.
They now have the opportunity. This is the first goal. They're only 2 down, 47 left on the clock. Tainted Minds, they can play fast. They can pass fast. They can pull this back. They can get it to that 3-all overtime.
You don't want to be up that creek without a paddle career. We said it.
No, you want a paddle pop, though, because they're pretty awesome.
No, they aren't.
Banana or chocolate?
Banana, I think. Just because it's different. Just a little bit different. On the defensive again. Tainted Minds. 40 seconds. Ball goes over the top. Adzi winning this one out. That should be enough time, I think. Tainted Minds, unless they can find another goal from the corner. The aggression keeps getting built up, but Love Dex seem to have done enough.
Yeah, the aerial play is going to bleed even more time off the clock. And whilst Tainted Minds are one of the most powerful aerial teams, it uses so much of time, and time's the most valuable resource now.
That pinch will bring it back into fruition, but CJ gets blocked, and again, Love Dex seem to come up in some of these big games. Against the Chiefs, they took 2. And against Tainted Minds, they're going to be taking 1. This backboard is all for Jules Kami. So sloppy at the moment from Tainted Minds, though, and if they want to firm themselves up as this last goal goes in, they have to start looking realistically about shutting Love Dex down.
Maybe Love Dex just love the number 4-1. All their games just seem to revolve around that score.
Yeah, let Tainted Minds get the goal in to even things up. Love Dex will take game 3. But how does this progress in the series? Today's the question's been about how do teams move forward in their series? In the first one, against Legs Are Silly, Love Dex, there wasn't that element of progression. For Tainted Minds, this is a different story. It's a different level of team.
I think it might have lit in a fire underneath Love Dex. We're starting to see more come out of them. They're starting to pick up their pace. Where they struggle to match Legs Are Silly, they're starting to match Tainted Minds. Adzi's starting to step up, and when he goes on, he's going to be a firecracker. CJM's coming back up. He's starting to take shots. Monty Connor's gaining back his confidence. And I think we're seeing the culmination of all the growth across the season as, like, we may not be able to get top 2, but we can take down a team that was the top 2.
And now for Tainted Minds. that pressure that's being put on them. Because they want this series win so they can move up to top 4. Like, top 4 guarantee is fantastic, right? Top 2 guarantee would be great. Like, the Chiefs are pretty much secured first unless we have a series of events today with Legacy. Tainted Minds want to be up in that top position. There's no way you're going to be undone by a team like Legacy who have come in with experienced players but weren't sitting in that position originally.
Lovedex, yeah?
Yeah, no, Legacy. Let's take a step back. I'll bring it back for you, right? Tainted Minds don't want to be undone. Lovedex, especially at this point in time, can do exactly that. They may be the team that has walked away scathed against Legs Are Silly, but against Tainted Minds now, on the back foot, well, considering after that win, things could be different.
It's the cycle of pain. They got hurt, now they're hurting others.
An eye for an eye. Lovedex walk forward again. Kami, big clear. With that backboard, Jules is here as well. Tainted Minds need to firm up their play. This is one that Legacy could take away from them next series. I know they're watching this game. Lovedex off to the first goal.
It may be an eye for an eye, Hysterics, but in the world of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, and Monty Connor runs forward with that one goal, leaving the score at 0-1.
This is such an issue. Tainted Minds are struggling. These first 2 games, they were like, yeah, look, Lovedex are getting shut out, but it wasn't as convincing as it should have been. Has it just taken a while for Lovedex to step up? Going for the bump, the demolition, the finisher for CJ. As soon as I say it.
We're seeing the pass plays come out. This is going to be a great game already. We're seeing Tainted Minds starting to pass off the backboard. Jules doesn't necessarily finish the shot himself, but CJ has the confidence and runs forward. We saw against Darksided, last week, some missed opportunities where they didn't have the trust. CJ's always happy to run forward, so if you match him, goals come out.
Well, for Tainted Minds, getting that first one is good, but now we have to, again, see that consistency. The ball bounces up, strangely enough. Jules from this left wing will continue over with it. Bringing it back, that's going to bounce in front of net, but for who? Tainted Minds have the second shot. It's read quite well by CJ.
The perfect shot bouncing right back down. We're seeing CJ on fire. He's pulling that shot percentage, and he's pulling the goals with it.
I mean, you think that's going to hit the corner. There's no way you read that to go in. That was just such a beautifully angled shot from CJ. Tainted Minds take the lead in Game 4. That's got to be the confidence booster that we talk about for Tainted Minds, moving forward and making sure they can progress against Lovedex. Getting pushed on the defense again from that corner. Great setup, but the blockers eat red even more. Tainted Minds are bringing down the hammer. Look at the aggression. The passes are back in. This is the Tainted Minds that we expected coming into this series.
And this is the Tainted Minds that can put the fear of God inside Legacy when they see the pass plays come through.
The pass again, wide over to Kami, intercepted, which is good from Lovedex. Sets up the shot, but Jules, he reads it perfectly. Kami now off the roof, CJM. He's there in time, but Jules to respond. All part of the plan. Tainted Minds now off the left wing will have to defend. CJM looks like he's pushing up a lot more in this game. Monty Connor drops it, and he's left it for too long as Kami just run out of boost.
And it's that terrible situation. You can shove CJM up, you can go for that offensive pressure, but losing one of the best saviors on your team means you're now open and susceptible to pressure. What do you do?
Great save from Jules, you just saw there though, Career, and Tainted Minds keeping on top of the ball. From this corner, Monty Connor will dribble with it, has run a little bit far forward from it, now Kami. Backy over here to Monty Connor. Boost being stolen away. The shot angled in. Kami this time will block it away. Clear, forward. Now running with the ball is Kami. He's run out of boost, but CJ to corrupt the ball and make it his own. He brings it up, forward, right-hand wing. Off the corner, I'm not sure what Lovedex are doing here, but can possession go back to Tainted Minds? Feels like now with Kami from this corner, it should be able to, a bit of a kicker. CJ brings it back in from the corner, not a big enough clear. It goes over CJM though, and Lovedex remains safe for now. 2 minutes 30 remaining. The pass up to Monty Connor. It's a center, in fact, and it's cleared all the way up. Kami comes in, but bit of a flippity-floppity game.
And now we're back into Lovedex's half. The pressure is going to build once again from Tainted Minds as Lovedex struggle to follow up on those clears and keep getting beaten up by the sheer speed of Tainted.
CJ, good center, but still in defense. I'm a little bit concerned. I don't think this is really what I saw a couple of minutes ago from Tainted Minds. Have gone onto the back foot a little bit again. The center again. But the pass forward, Jules now going to have to deal with Monty Connor. He dribbles it over the net. Ambitious play, Monty Connor. But you're dealing with 3 attackers from Tainted Minds. As they all come up, they all go back down, and so it must be. In the word of the wise, 1 minute 30 once said, it's 1 minute 30 to go. 1 goal lead for Tainted Minds. And Lovedex getting these centers, but they're just not getting the final push into the back of the net.
Yeah, they haven't had the opportunity to make a shot of it. Tainted Minds either intercept or they challenge immediately. And the sheer speed means that Lovedex doesn't have the opportunity to angle their car in a way that leads to a shot or even leads to a pass that could lead to a shot.
Well, this one was a shot from Monty Connor, but it's been chipped up off the old block. And like my daddy used to always say, with 1 minute left to go, you got to start making plays. Tainted Minds are on the defensive, and Lovedex have one last opportunity. Otherwise, they will be knocked diddly-doodly out of this league play. Lovedex don't really have a chance if shots like this roll through the field.
What a steal as well. Just noticing the perfect angle is available to him and just gets up fast, gets up perfectly positioned from deep within his own half.
And it's like CJM walks by, runs past the ball. He sees it flying on past. And it's like going down the Autobahn and seeing a motorbike doing 300 kilometers going the wrong way, and you go, man, it's just crazy. Really, for Lovedex, after seeing that, 40 seconds left, their morale has got to be pretty low. Tainted Minds have come into this series, and although not as convincing as some of the other series we've seen Korea, they've definitely closed it out in a way that I think they will somewhat be happy with.
Yeah, not just crazy in the sense that it's being closed out against them. Their dream is over. Legs Are Silly did enough. They've pulled that 7th. And now Tainted Minds have to look forward to see if they can pull that top 4.
There is 15 seconds left, but Lovedex has just been pushed so hard on the aggression here, and the center will end up going over to Kami as he reaches up for the ball, and Tainted Minds have done what they needed to do to get themselves a 3-1 win, and for Lovedex, bad news bears, as they have taken 2 game losses, and I'm afraid it will not cut it for their league play.
And for Tainted Minds, this is the stepping stone. They have to look forward. They're going to be versing Legacy, and they have to work out where they're going to be sitting in the seeding for the finals.
Now, of course, for Lovedex, they needed to win both those series there. Otherwise, with a mix and match of tiebreakers and different things, potentially, but we will double check that for you. Wolfie,
Hey.
that was a back and forth series, if I dare say it.
Yeah, it was definitely sporadic, I think, is
Good.
probably the word to use there. Because we had a look at game 1, and it seemed very, very close. And, going straight to overtime, you're thinking, is this going to be like a game 5 series? And I was like, oh, my prediction's probably going to end up being wrong. But a lot of the times, and I have to say it, very silly mistakes. Especially in defense from Lovedex. A lot of the times when they were slow in, games 2, 3, and 4, basically you saw Kami just come right on the top and smack it in.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, they got slowly opened up. You saw CJ and Jules taking tons of shots, and Kami's trying to open the net with demos.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's fine. I'll do it then.
Yeah.
I got the door. I'll close it.
But what was about Tainted Minds that, for me, didn't feel convincing enough in that series?
Yeah, so they definitely weren't the old Tainted Minds that we're used to, at least in the last couple of weeks that we've seen of really good performance. But I have to say that, with it as well, it was a bit of sloppy defense from both sides. And a lot of the times, this is what would happen was Jules was the only one who was kind of back and active enough to get a lot of those saves. So he was definitely really good in defense for the team. But the Kami and CJ train really worked out in those last few games just because they'd get in the right positions, they'd get in, Lovedeck's heads and say, hey, this is our goal, this is happening right now.
And that's Tainted Minds' shtick, right? They go for the pass plays, they get up really fast,
Yeah.
they intercept upon you, and it's like, you're in the, what do I do? If I go for the pass, it's not our ball anymore, and if I dribble it, they're too fast, they'll catch me.
That's right, because they are so fast in defense, and Lovedex especially are a team that's also backwards in defense. So in defense, you always want to be facing the ball, just so that you can actually be the fastest player to it. But Lovedex, a lot of the times, were caught backwards, and then Tainted Minds are like, it's a free net, I'll take that, no problem.
It was convincing enough from Tainted Minds at the end of the day. And moving on to Legacy, that'll be a different conversation of moving up to a new caliber. However, Wolfie, before we do go to a break, we have to look at our contender for Omen by HP MVP end of the day. Who would you pick from either Tainted Minds or Lovedex?
Kami. Straight up out of the bat, he was fantastic in offense, really good in the midfield as well, and he was outpacing all of the players from his own team and from Lovedex as well.
Well, you heard it here first. Kami's going to join the rank of contenders, and if one day too you want to join them, you can go to throwdownesports.com and sign up for our brand new open qualifier coming forward with our senior and junior division of our new Rocket League Community Cup. We're going to have a 5-minute break, and when we return, it's Tainted Minds taking on Legacy for another banger of a series.